Good morning, everyone. It's Jim from Amps, and in this episode we're going to get the Alps pot assembly installed. Now, we've already assembled the whole thing and got the ground wire or ground strap on. That ground strap is just tying these metal bits that normally would be tied on a metal chassis to the ground point. And that, believe it or not, if you touch a metal knob and this is not grounded properly, you'll actually put some hum into the amp. So, okay, so just get the nut and washer off. And this whole thing just slides right in. And then we'll put it on the other side. Back on it goes. Now we're working on the face of the chassis, so it's really important we're careful. So I'm just using my fingers to nut it down, and then I'm going to use a deep socket. This is a 12 millimeter, and I'm going to start by just hand tightening it over here. Can you see me? Yeah, just about. Let me just move us over just a little bit. So I'm holding down the PCB, and I'm just going to give it a tiny little bit of torque in a minute. But before we do that, I'm going to put these 19 millimeter spacers on top. Now just watch your fingers don't get poked. Okay, now take a look at the line of the front and see if it's nice and parallel with the top plate. If not, you can just move it forward just a tiny little bit, which is what I'm going to do here, and then you can snug that down. You wouldn't believe the amount of time we spent calculating and recalculating positioning when we designed this chassis, and we were so worried about this fit that we actually put a nice sliding slot. It also helps to drop this in easier, and it turned out that we pretty much ended up with it exactly dead nuts in the middle. So that was a happy moment when I built the first version and confirmed that in fact all of our careful measuring was basically bang on. So don't forget, this is just brass on brass threading, M3 threading. So just torque it down lightly. Don't go crazy. Now I'm going to come back and I'm just going to torque down the front nut. Again, I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on that, and I'm going to support everything with my hand here. I really wouldn't want to bring a wrench to here. If you do, just be very, very careful. You might even want to put some lightweight painter's tape. Just lightly tack it on so that it protects the region you're working in. Okay, now this is actually going to be really straightforward. So why don't we do the easy stuff first? So we're going to start with the left channel, non-inverted, ground, inverted. And then we've got the left PS, so that's phase splitter, and we've got non-inverted, inverted. So I'm just going to get them installed, and the other side is actually identical. So I'll get them installed, and then I'll show you what it looks like. There's really nothing to it. Everything is pre-tinned, it's pre-sized. This is like a cakewalk compared to some of the stuff we've been working on. And builds are like that. Builds will have, tricky parts that really take a lot of focus and some attention to detail, and then they'll have, things that you've prepped and you can just, you could close your eyes practically. Well, don't do that, but you could, and wire everything up and it'll look fantastic. So I like to do a little tug test. And you're just snugging these down. Don't go crazy on them. Again, they're just small fasteners. So once you've got it on nice and solidly, you're done. Okay, I'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, so that's what our wiring connections look like. From the front, it's blue, black, white, and then it's the next pair, and it's blue and white. And if things get a little, the housings actually flex or pivot around the fastening, you can just straighten them out. The right channel is identical to the left, as you can see. Okay, excellent. Boy, that was a hard job, but you know, someone has to do it. Okay, now let's get the input hookup wire or jumper wire, however you want to term it. Get the wires in the correct orientation. We've already preloaded a piece of shrink a long time ago, and it's just sitting there waiting patiently. So I can see that the first symbol here, you probably can't see it. I'll get it tipped up. There you go. You see it's remember, you're reading these symbols always from the orientation of the rest of the silk screening. So whatever the writing is almost always on the board in the same orientation. So that means I'm looking at it from this point of view. So this first one is not inverted, and it says XLR right. So I look down here, and it says XLR right. So Bob's your uncle. So get the wires in the right orientation. I have to actually bring the ground wire and swing it over. That's no problem. And I'm getting everything sort of sized. And I think before we finish up here and connect it up, we're going to do a light tinning on the ground wire. Just keep those strands together. And I'm going to get, hang on, just going to get a little piece of scrap underneath because I don't want to dribble flux all over the place. So I'm just going to put a little bit of flux on that. Now I'm not sure temperature-wise how this is going to go because we got quite a bit of mass with that. I'm going to try coming in at about 350 C, which is about 660 Fahrenheit. And we're going to see how that goes. We're just starting for the morning, so I'm doing some extra cleanup on my tip to make sure it's ready to go. When you're tinning, if you've got a dirty tip or your temperature is off, the tinning just will not take. Some wires are harder to tin than others, and some will just go, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, it's snapping on the it's snapping on the length of solder, which does happen. But let's just see if we got, that's good. We don't over tin that wire. Just, you basically want to fill it and capture all those little strands. If you fill it up too much with solder, you're going to end up bulking up the cable, and as a result, it won't fit in the jack. So this is how everything is going to line up. So I would take that back to about there, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to look for any stray wires that could cause problems, and I'm just going to get in there and clean them up. So a little bundle of junk here. Let's get in there, we'll get that out of there. Just be careful you don't cut back stuff that you actually need. There we go. And don't worry about this area in here. You're going to be putting a nice big piece of shrink on it. Okay, let's get that on. And we also have to size these for length, and we're just a little long. So I'm going to just snip that off. Make sure you don't drop anything inside the amp. If you do, just turn it over and it'll just drop out. Just make sure it's out. Little pieces of broken solder and stuff like that lingering around in here would be a very bad idea. It could accidentally short some pins that are, some solder connections that are really close together. So now, because we opened up these junctions way back when we got them prepped for installation, they're just basically ready to go. And I'm going to get those two on first. So just hold them in place. Pardon my hand. Okay, it's important that you do a tug test to make sure that everybody's on, and it is. And now the ground wire should go on quite easily. And it does. There we go. And let's just check everything before we finish it up. I think we could take just a tiny little bit off the tip of that if I didn't drop my snips. And let's just get that little bit off. And there's a little piece in the amp, so I'm going to have to turn it upside down in a minute, but I'll do that off camera. Okay, now sometimes you need to give a little helping hand to make sure you're in, and we are. Good. Yeah, you got to make sure your wires are fully in before you snug them down. That's good. And we're going to do a tug test. And actually, while I'm here, I'm reorienting the wire a little bit. There, that's really excellent. Okay, let's get the shrink on. And there's no stray wires. Perfect. And then we're going to get the shrink over it just like that. And let's get the other one done. The other one's exactly the same way, but the connections are they're not the same. So I should let me back up. The methodology for installing the XLR left is identical to the XLR right, but the actual pins or junction connections have all changed. So pay attention to that. So we're going to want the ground over here, and we're going to want the, just like this. We're going to get that all arranged. Okay, I'll get it installed and I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so that's what the XLR left side looks like, and you can see that our blue and white wires actually changed, and so did our ground. Everything changed actually, and there's just no other way to do the layout. So that's one of those odd situations where Charles didn't have a choice, but you know, if you're paying attention, it's just not that big a deal. Okay, so snug the shrink up. Just leave it back just a little tiny bit so that there's room to maneuver in there if you need to take things off or put it back on. I just shrink it in place just like that. Okay, I'll see you back and we'll see what it all looks like. Okay, well, let's finish up. So there's just a couple of things to do. So let's get the knob turned to 0. So that's all the way counterclockwise. So that'll bring it over to here. And again, we're working on the front, so be really careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly tack this on, and let me show you. You see the last line here? That's Charles has got it picked up here, and
it's hard to get some light on it.
Anyways, I'm just going to get that on loosely.
Try and align the dot with the very first line, because the total sweep of those dots is equal to the total sweep of the Alps pot.
And that's pretty close. And I'll just make a little adjustment, and then I'm going to tighten it down. Now, typically when I tighten down, I usually just bring a small 2mm Allen wrench, and I just come in like this carefully and that keeps my working tools away from the front surface so I can't scratch anything. So just snug it down. Remember, it's just a small fastener. It doesn't need a lot of torque. Okay, excellent. Now, the last thing, the build is essentially done. And one of the last things I like to do is I like to give it a good little shake. Not a huge shake, but a little shake just to make sure that if there's any loose bits of stuff inside the chassis, that it'll just fall out. Because sometimes you do a little bit of trimming. We just finished up a little bit of trimming on some hookup wires, and sometimes stuff falls in, you don't catch it, and it's always good to do that. Okay, well done everyone.